Hello, and I want to welcome all of you to the episode 3 of The View with TQ. This week I've decided to do something different. I've been extremely busy uh, for the past 2 weeks since the last podcast, so I haven't had much time to think of a topic and decide what I want to talk about. So, the past few days I have asked my friends and family to send me questions because I've decided I want to do a Q&A, and I got way more questions than I actually thought I would. I ended up getting 38, I believe. So I'm breaking up the questions into two different episodes, and this episode will be the more serious questions. Go ahead and start it off. My brother Ryan Richards asked, if you could go to any college, which one would you attend? What would you major and minor in, and why? If I could go to any college, I'm already going to the one I want to. I'm going to be attending Huntington College, so I wouldn't really want to change my mind. So I would say that's the college I want to attend. And major and minor, honestly, I just want to have a major, and I'm leaning towards communications. It was between communications and digital art, but I think I'll do communications as my major. And why? Honestly, just because. Well, I started the podcast because I want to focus on communications and maybe do something in the future after I graduate with like a news station, maybe be a reporter or broadcaster. Uh, Madison Flagg asks, where do you see yourself in 10 years? Well, hopefully not struggling with life or anything, hopefully have a house, wife, just doing the best I possibly can and not struggling whatsoever. Uh, Main thing is to make sure I'm happy, make sure my family is happy, friends. Cole Gilmore asks, what do you plan on doing once you graduate? Now, once I graduate, he didn't specify high school or college, so I'll just talk about both. Once I graduate high school, that's when packing will begin, really packing for college and just getting all my supplies that I need for that. And just kind of getting ready to take that first step into the real world. But once I graduate college, I hope to start searching for a job and to really take this step into life. It'll just be me, and parents won't be there to just support me anymore. You know, I'll have to start doing stuff for myself. But yeah, it's a great question so far. I was really surprised by the questions I got. Lauren Gilchrist asked, "What is your worst fear?" And I've never really had a big fear. Some people fear dying. Some people fear heights and things. I am afraid of heights, but that's more of a comical fear. I'd say my biggest fear is just not being good enough. I want to be good enough for my family, my friends. I want to be good enough for God. But yeah, I just always want to be good enough and seen as someone who's always tried their hardest and never just goofed off and just failed at life. Yeah, my biggest fear would be not being good enough. She also asked, do I want kids? At first the thought of having a kid was kind of scary, but ever since my nephew Alec was born, just being with him and seeing him grow up and just spending all the time with him that whenever he's over, it's really opened my eyes about having a kid, and I look forward to it. The last question she asked was, what's something you wish you could fix in today's world that you can't? Honestly, just how separated the world is. Within the country, we're so separated on just religious views, political views, things like that. And honestly, I hate it. It bothers me how separated we are as a country. But something I could change in the world. Still, just the constant fighting. I wish everyone in the world could kind of find a level ground and just kind of get together and, find something that we can all agree on instead of always arguing over things. Gavin Newman asks, what is something that has happened in your life that has changed your outlook on life? Now, that's actually a really hard question for me, but I'd have to say something that happened that changed my outlook would be when my Uncle Mike died. It was very unexpected and so sudden, and it just kind of gave me the thought that, life is really short and like there's no guarantees, so like something can happen to someone at any point, loved ones, family, friends. Something can happen at any point and they can be gone just like that. So, I just kind of view life as trying to like take every moment in and not waste any moment that you're given. My mom, Tamara Hightower, asked, what do you think about parents who drop out of their kids' lives once parents get divorced? That's something that really bothers me. Just because parents get divorced, you had the kids, you decided to have the kids. You shouldn't drop out of their lives. You you made that kid, and you knew what it was going to be. I mean, just because you get a divorce doesn't mean you're getting a divorce with the kid. That's still your kid. So you need to take care of it. That's one thing that's always bothered me. I see kids all over the world, and kids like my friends that have had parents divorce, and their father or mother just wants nothing to do with them. My mom also asked, is it better to be a leader or a follower, and why? I would say definitely being a leader, because why would you want to like listen to what other people say? You need to make your own decisions. You don't need to take what other people do and make it your life. Like, come up with your own decisions and your own outlook on life, and just like make your own path. Don't follow someone else's. Carson Jordan asked, if you were the president, what would you change to make America great? This is I can kind of relate this question back to something that's going on in the world that I wish I could fix. Just the hate and separation between people in the world, In this question, in America, we have so much hate and so much separation between each other that it's literally where we have another war going on between ourselves instead of other countries where the real problem is. So I'd change how we view each other in the country and try to bring us closer together instead of separating us so far apart. Megan Baumgart asked, are you okay with how your life is planning out to be right now? Yes, I couldn't be any happier with how my life is going right now. She also asked, have you made any decisions you regret? Of course, everyone makes decisions that they regret, but that's just a part of life, you make decisions and sometimes they don't go as you plan, you may regret them, but it turns you into the person you are. She also asked, have you made any decisions you don't regret? And of course, I've changed schools, and at first I thought it'd be rough, but I met my girlfriend Madison when I changed from Smith Station to Central High School. So I don't regret that decision whatsoever. Sage Valfrey asked, how do I deal with stress? Well, stress is a part of life, and it's always going to be there. But with me, I've always been able to deal with stress pretty easily because I know I always have someone to talk to. I have great parents, great siblings, great friends, family, and God. I have God. So if I'm ever feeling stressed, I know there's someone I can always talk to. So, I can always just feel better. He also asked, what are your thoughts on the allegations that the Las Vegas shooting is just another reason we should have more strict gun laws? Honestly, we'll start off, say, my prayers are still being sent to the families and loved ones that were lost in that Las Vegas shooting. It was a terrible, terrible act. But more strict gun laws, we've been hearing that for a couple years now, but The way I see it is, we already have very strict laws on things such as drugs. And we've had those laws for quite a while. But I mean, you still see people getting their hands on these illegal drugs and substances, and I mean, we have strict laws on them, so I feel like if we have strict gun laws, it's just going to make people want to, get the guns even more than they already do. So, I feel like more strict gun laws are kind of pointless because I just don't feel like it would change anything from what's going on now. And the biggest question I've gotten all day is also from Sage, and he said, abortion, yes or no? I'm not for abortion. Personally, that's not something I believe in. I don't think you should do it. But I am not someone to judge others by what they decide and do in their lives. So if that's what you decide on, then by all means, that's your decision. I'm not going to make a decision for you. It's not my business. I mean, there's nothing I'm not going to try to change your mind because it's not my business to get into something like that. That is all your decision. Like I said, I don't support it and I'm not for abortion, but that is completely up to the person who is making that decision. So that's all of the questions I have for this week. Like I said, I'm going to break the Q&A up into 2 different podcasts. So this week was the more serious questions I have. Next week will be the more laid back, kind of like questions about myself, comical, funny questions. So yeah, that's all I have for the podcast this week. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. Really want to thank the people who sent me in some questions to answer. I really, really appreciate it. Yep, that's all I have for this week. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll talk to you guys next week. Peace.